What's up, everybody? This is the Pick Six Podcast. Will Brinson here. Ryan Wilson, John Breech, Sean Wagner-McGough. We're going to give you a YouTube exclusive on some early Week 9 NFL gambling lines. Let's get right to it. 49ers, they loaded up a 50-burger on the Carolina Panthers in San Francisco on Sunday. And as a result, they are huge favorites on Sunday night. 7.5-point road favorites. Ryan, is that even enough after seeing the Cardinals get kind of smacked around a little bit by the Saints on Sunday afternoon?
Yeah, I don't think I would even call that huge, 7.5. You mentioned the 50-burger. They did it against a really good Panthers team. They did it against a really good Kyle Allen at quarterback. Kyle Allen came to this game Sunday, had not thrown an interception. He threw 3. One of them was done by Nick Bosa, who went from favorite for Defensive Rookie of the Year to favorite for Defensive Player of the Year after his performance against the Panthers of Kyle Allen. I mentioned the interception. He had 3 sacks. I know that some of the concern is with Jimmy GQ on the other side of the ball, but he is just a game manager. I mean it in the best sense of the word, with Kyle Shanahan doing the heavy lifting. And oh, by the way, Tevin Coleman ain't bad. He had 38 fantasy points. Sean can tell you how he left him on his bench and got screwed out of a win on Sunday. But the bottom line is this team is playing at a high level. They're my favorite team right now in the NFL. They did nothing to change that. And while the Cardinals sort of held it on early on against the Saints, they're going to be no match for the 49ers.
Ryan, I am glad you brought up Sean, because apparently he was the only one that got the memo to wear a tight shirt tonight. Brinson, you got to give me at least an hour notice to put that on. But back to this 49ers-Cardinals game. You guys want to know something crazy? You know who Kyle Shanahan has never beaten? The Arizona Cardinals. He's 0-4 against them. The Cardinals have won 8 straight games against the 49ers, which doesn't even sound believable because the Cardinals have been so bad over the past couple years. I am not making up that fact. It is true. 8 in a row, the Cardinals over the 49ers. However, this is a completely different year. We have seen the San Francisco 49ers defense just absolutely destroy quarterbacks this year, and now they get a rookie quarterback. I feel very sorry for Kyler Murray, and I will be shocked if the 49ers don't win this by double digits. So, yeah, I am definitely leaning 49ers with this 7.5-point spread early.
Okay, I don't know where I need to start, but first off, I got to note that we are recording this on Sunday night during the Sunday Night Football game. There is still a chance I'm going to win my fantasy football matchup, even though I did, in fact, leave Tevin Coleman on the bench. Second of all, I do have to agree with both of them. I think the 49ers are going to roll in this game. We looked at what we saw. This 49ers defense, since their week 4 bye, their last 4 games, they're allowing less than 6 points per game. I know they haven't really played any good quarterbacks in that span, but they get Kyler Murray this week. I love Kyler Murray's long-term potential. I love what the Cardinals are doing long-term. I just don't think they're there right now in order to challenge this 49ers defense. The one thing I will add and caution against is taking the under this game at 44. I thought this Panthers-49ers game was going to hit the under. The 49ers covered completely on their own. They hit the over with that 50-burger. So I actually like the over in this game because I look at that Cardinals defense, and I think Kyle Shanahan can actually have his way offensively against the Cardinals defense. I think the 49ers are going to win big, and I think they're going to score a lot of points, and I don't think Kyler Murray is going to have much success.
Yeah, look, 44, 38, how many points Tevin Coleman had in fantasy? 19. That's how much Sean's shirt costs. And you got to shrink it in the dryer too. Cowboys and the Giants. The Cowboys are also huge road favorites. Cowboys minus 7.5 points coming off their bye, headed into New York. Monday Night Football game because the NFL is obsessed with putting the stupid NFC East on primetime games. Cowboys are minus 7.5. Everyone's going to load up on the Cowboys because the Giants looked like trash going on the road and getting beat up by the Detroit Lions on Sunday. Dallas well rested, John Breech, and I would anticipate that you see a bunch of bets on Dallas minus 7.5.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Brinson, to me, this game will be like watching you wrestle a bear. I don't even need to watch because I already know what's going to happen. The Cowboys are absolutely going to destroy the Giants here. Look, we saw them struggle a little bit in October. That's one thing. Like you said, they were beat up. They weren't healthy yet. Their offensive linemen have been kind of hobbled through the last couple of weeks, but they had this bye week to get healthy. You know what we've seen from the Giants defense? Absolutely nothing. They've been horrible. They couldn't stop Matthew Stafford. They couldn't stop the Lions. They haven't been able to stop anyone this whole season. However, I will say the one intriguing thing here that almost makes me want to lean Giants cover is that their offense hasn't looked bad. Daniel Jones made one boneheaded mistake against Detroit where he backwards lateral on the line's return for a touchdown. But besides that, 4 touchdown passes. Saquon Barkley went off. I feel like they could keep up with the Cowboys if this turns into a shootout. But right now, I just think the Cowboys have too much firepower and that they'll cover the spread.
Breech, we might not need to watch Brinson fight a bear, but we definitely would want to watch Brinson fight a bear because I think all of us here, we get our popcorn, pour a drink, maybe fire up our own Slack chat, talk some crap about Brinson as he gets his ass handed to him by a bear. That's something that everyone is going to want to do. CBS should probably put it on TV. I do have to agree with Breech about the rest, though. I actually think Dak Prescott's not getting enough MVP love right now. If you look at the advanced metrics, he's second entering the week in DVOA, first in QBR. I think he's had a fantastic season, even if he had a rough, last couple weeks before Tyron Smith came back. So I look at this matchup. Matthew Stafford threw for almost 350 yards against this Giants defense on Sunday. I think Dak will be even better or just as good. I think Zeke coming off a bye week will be able to run wild. So I like the Cowboys to win big in this game. And I wouldn't be surprised if the over hits because to Breech's point, the Giants offense actually looked pretty good against a Lions defense that hasn't been terrible. And the Cowboys defense, even though the Cowboys are leading the NFC East, Cowboys defense really hasn't been as good as we thought they'd be. So I like the Cowboys to win in a bit of a shootout in this one.
I love Angry Sean, and the only chance Brinson has to beat that bear is if we make that bear wear Sean's shirt so he can't move very well with his upper body. Other than that, look, I'm going against Breech and Sean. I'm actually starting to come around on the Giants. They didn't get absolutely smoked in Detroit. That game was actually closer than it may have appeared, and it was 31-26, I believe. Breech mentioned the 4 touchdowns by Danny Dimes. 2 of those touchdowns went to Darius Slayton, a rookie who played out of his mind today. Another went to Evan Ingram. And also, don't forget, they sacked Stafford 4 times, intercepted him once. Norris Jenkins actually made a play, which is sort of out of the ordinary, and they also forced a fumble. So I think this game is going to be at MetLife. We don't know which Cowboys team is going to show up from one week to the next. And Sean sort of hit on it. That Cowboys defense has been suspect. I like the Cowboys offense, but I feel like with Saquon Barkley, Danny Dimes getting better each and every week, and his playmakers starting to show up around him, including Golden Tate, they have a chance to cover this game. I don't think they're going to win, but 7.5 certainly seems reasonable.
Yeah, you can see Danny Dimes coming in through the back door. Glad you're starting to come around on the 2-6 Cowboys. 2-6 Giants who have lost 4 consecutive games. Ryan, really interesting midseason bandwagon you got going on there. Speaking of teams that are utterly collapsing inside of themselves, turning into dust before our very eyes, Matt Nagy, the Chicago Bears, everybody! All right, let's give a big round of applause. Sean, of course, had to wear that shirt because Mitchell Trubisky took knees, and then Eddie Pinheiro shanked a field goal hard left, and the Bears continue their utter descent into ruins. They're heading on the road. This is a rough spot for them because the one weakness of the Philadelphia Eagles is their secondary. And if you have any kind of competent quarterback that wasn't, drafted ahead of Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson, then you could throw on them. Unfortunately, the Bears have Mitchell Trubisky, who can't throw on anybody, and now Sean, they're 5-point dogs on the road in Philly, over under 45. Can your Bears and Mitchy True cover?
No, they cannot. And you are completely right. The Bears are unraveling. The wheels are coming off. The train is going off the tracks. Use whatever metaphor you want to use. Matt Nagy looks like a complete buffoon up there at the end of every game in his press conferences, refusing really to answer questions about why he settled for a field goal when he had timeouts and could have gotten a lot closer to help out his kicker, and he refused to do it even though his season just ended a year ago because of a missed field goal. He doesn't know what he's doing. Mitchell Trubisky is so bad that I think he's going to make this Eagles secondary look okay. I think an equal concern right now is this Bears defense just doesn't have a pass rush. Ever since Akeem Hicks went out against the Raiders in that London game, teams have been able to really key on Khalil Mack. Usually when you watch the Bears defense, your eyes immediately find Mack in every single play. He's so fun to watch. He's been invisible the last couple of weeks. I know he did get a sack on Sunday, but that was his first in a month. I don't think this line is big enough. I think this is the game where things completely fall away for the Bears. I think it's going to be an embarrassing loss for them. I do need to add one more thing not related to the Bears. Brinson did mention my shirt costing $19. I do got to say it costs less than that. If you shop at Target, you can get these bad boys for like $12.
That shirt is a Mr. Trubisky of shirts. But I think Sean is right about one thing. If this spread was -10, I would still be leaning towards the Eagles. This Bears team has given up. I feel like part of the reason that the defense hasn't played very well is that they've also given up. They know they have no chance to score unless it's on the defensive side. The one lone bright spot of this Bears season, the last few weeks anyway, is that David Montgomery finally got involved in the game. He had a huge game, his first 100-yard game as a rookie. It didn't matter. They somehow lost to a terrible Chargers team. The Eagles went to Buffalo, scored 31 points on the second best defense in the NFL. I can't envision a situation where Chicago finds a way to win this game.
I love the symmetry of this game. We have the Bears playing the Eagles. The last time these two teams played, we saw Cody Parkey's double doink, and now they're going to be playing after Eddie Pinheiro missed that field goal against the Chargers. This is too perfect. And you know what the thing with the Bears is? I don't even know what their biggest problem is. Is it their quarterback? Is it their coach? Is it their kicker? I mean, that was actually a trick question. I know what their biggest problem is. It's Mitchell Trubisky. Ryan Pace, you have 2 days to trade for a quarterback before that deadline hits, and that's the only way you're going to beat the Eagles. Now, that being said, I feel like the Bears season is absolutely on the line this week. If they lose this, they have no shot at a division title. They have no shot at a playoff berth. And as all these guys have mentioned, as Brinson, Sean, and Ryan just said, the defense has not looked great. But the thing is, despite horrible play from Mitchell Trubisky and a below average look from their defense, they still almost beat the Raiders. They still almost beat the Chargers. So all they need is for Mitchell Trubisky to play at least 75% of what a normal NFL quarterback can play. If he gives them that, I think they can cover, because as Sean mentioned, this Eagles secondary is horrible. So I am maybe take some crazy pills earlier, but I'm taking the Bears to cover, guys.
Interesting. Speaking of crazy, you know, it's crazy. The 4 teams above Breech's, I guess it's his left shoulder, have a combined 8 wins. So that's exciting. 8 wins. The Bengals are up there too, by the way. Moving along to a team that's coming off its bye with a lot of wins. 5 wins, actually. The Baltimore Ravens are hosting Sunday Night Football, and the New England Patriots will be coming to town. The undefeated New England Patriots, who they got a bunch of wins as well. Ryan, Patriots -4. Are you surprised that the Patriots are bigger favorites given how well they played, and given that Lamar Jackson, a young quarterback, traditionally flummoxed, like most young quarterbacks, by Bill Belichick, who, by the way, just got his 300th win against the Browns, where he got his first win. Nice, speaking of symmetry, nice stuff there.
300th win for Bill Belichick, and I think the stat that we saw on Sunday was that Tom Brady and Bill Belichick are 24-0 against quarterbacks under the age of 24. Something ridiculous like that. It's probably higher now, maybe 25, obviously, since they lost to beat Baker Mayfield. But here's the thing. I'm all in on the Ravens. They're going to be at M&T Bank Stadium, and I actually even like the over. Nick Chubb ran for over 130 yards on Sunday. Baker Mayfield got up to a slow start. He threw that silly interception to Lawrence Guy. Lawrence Guy probably never saw it coming, still made the play. But guess what the Ravens like to do? They love to run the football. So we can see that the Patriots defense has some issues against the run. You get the run going, then you can turn to the passing game. Lamar Jackson, as we know, is a much better passer this year than he was last year. He's my dark horse MVP candidate. I think they have a chance not only to cover, but to win this game. And I actually see the Ravens scoring 30 points on your New England Patriots.
Whoa, Ryan, that's a lot of points from a team that runs the ball 90% of the time. I don't know if that's going to happen, but you know what? I'm just excited because we have the Patriots. We've waited 9 weeks for a game where the Patriots aren't favored to win by 75 points. We finally got it. This should be a competitive game. On paper, it seems like it should be a competitive game. And what I love here is that historically, John Harbaugh, as coach of the Ravens, has given Bill Belichick some of his toughest matchups. Historically, Bill Belichick has struggled with running quarterbacks. Ryan just mentioned that 24 and under stat, that the Patriots have won 24 straight games against quarterbacks 24 and under. The last one they lost to was a running quarterback named Colin Kaepernick in 2012. So I think that even though younger quarterbacks do struggle, Lamar Jackson, that's when they're throwing the ball. Lamar Jackson doesn't have to do that to succeed when he's playing. So I hate to agree with Ryan here. Sometimes I love to agree with him, but in this instance, I do not like to agree with him. I am not ready to pick the Ravens to pull the upset, but I do like them to cover this 4-point spread.
Yeah, my takeaway from watching the Browns get humiliated against the Patriots was that if the Browns don't turn the ball over on 3 straight plays earlier in the game to put themselves into a huge hole, I feel like this game might have been kind of close. Like Ryan mentioned, they ran the ball with authority. I think they averaged somewhere around 6 or 7 yards per attempt against that Patriots defense. You know the Ravens are sitting at home on their bye week. You know that's the exact plan they're putting together, getting Lamar Jackson and Mark Ingram into running situations. And I think the difference between, a team like the Ravens and a team like the Browns is that the Ravens are actually well coached. And the Browns have Freddie Kitchens, who did what he normally did, wasted a challenge on a terrible pass interference challenge. I don't think the Ravens are going to do the same thing. John Harbaugh knows how to coach against Bill Belichick. They've seen each other in the playoffs many times. He always gives them problems. And the Patriots defense lately has been just taking apart the 2018 quarterback draft class. We saw, Sam Darnold seeing ghosts. Baker Mayfield got crushed on Sunday. We saw Josh Allen really struggle, even though that was a close game. I actually think Lamar's break that trend because I think Lamar's just not going to throw the ball very much. And we know that the Patriots secondary is the strength of that defense. I think they're just going to ground and pound. I don't know if I like the over though, because I think the Ravens are going to really try to use that, ground control, control the clock, minimize the possessions. I think that's the kind of game we're going to see. So I like the Patriots to win, but I think it's a field goal type of game.
By the way, Freddie Kitchens actually had purposely had the Browns do a false start on 4th and 11 so he could save his timeout, and then ran the offense back out there and went for it on 4th and 16. It's the pinnacle of coaching in 2019. You guys are fools. Give me the Patriots. Are you kidding me? -4? I don't care where the game's being played. Mars, Venus, another planet that sounds like something. Baltimore, I don't care. New England, whatever. I'll take the Patriots -4 all day long. The Jets. What a world. The Jets, who are a terrible football team, awful, horribly coached, terrible execution, need to blow it all up again and fire everybody into the sun, are 4.5-point road favorites in Miami against the Dolphins. John Breech, dare you take more home dogs, including the Miami Dolphins, over under 41.5. This game is probably on CBS, and it's probably going to be terrible.
Brinson, don't dare me. This is like when someone calls Marty McFly yellow in Back to the Future. You're almost making me want to take the Dolphins here. Look, have you seen the Jets play on the road? They just played the Jags. They're 0-3 on the season. The Jets are 1-9 in their past 10 road games. When they play on the road, it's like everyone on the roster is seeing ghosts. It's just absolutely ugly. And you know what the Dolphins did? They're actually good against AFC East teams at home. We saw them beat the Bills, we saw them beat the Patriots, and we saw them beat the Jets all last season. So they swept the division at home last season. They're actually okay at home. Now, here's the thing. I'm probably too sober right now to predict an outright upset, but I do think the Dolphins are going to cover this.
Yeah, for me, you could name a bunch of stats or whatever. I think it comes down to Ryan Fitzpatrick. I don't know. I can't give you a firm, reason rooted in logic. It just feels like the kind of game that Fitzpatrick comes out against a former team, does Fitzmagic kind of stuff before he turns into Fitztragic later in the season. This is the kind of game where he ruins the Dolphins' tanking plan. And look, quite frankly, right now, I'm not talking about the future, but right now, if you had one game and you had to pick between Ryan Fitzpatrick and Sam Darnold, I think you would take Ryan Fitzpatrick because right now, Sam Darnold, we saw him against the Patriots seeing ghosts. He was not better on Sunday. He's turning the ball over like crazy. So I would rather have Ryan Fitzpatrick in this game. It's in Miami. I would probably rather have Brian Flores over Adam Gase. I am talking myself into the Dolphins not only covering, but winning this game.
So I don't know if this is a revenge game for Adam Gase because he's coming back to South Florida. This is a revenge game for the Dolphins playing against Adam Gase, who ruined them the last few seasons. But you guys pretty much convinced me that Sam Darnold's terrible. Ryan Fitzpatrick's going to throw the ball 65 times, and that'll enhance their chance of winning the football game. 12 people are going to watch this game, and 12 people will be related to the people playing these games that are watching this game. No one cares. There'll be 12 points total scored to keep the 12th team alive, and I feel like the Dolphins will cover. Maybe they'll win. At the end of the day, no one will care.
Look. We did a good job. We disparaged CBS and the games that are being aired on our network, and we'll probably do some more of that, embarrassing ourselves. Not Sean. Make sure to check out the full podcast recap of Week 8 action. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts. And we'll be back next week for another YouTube exclusive. But make sure to hit that subscribe button as well, since we have tons of videos coming out throughout the week. For Ryan, Sean, and John, I'm Will. Enjoy the evening.